Hey everybody, welcome back to Kentucky Plant Daddy. I'm Jordan and I'm glad that you're back to watch the channel. Today is going to be a video on Hoyas, so I'm just going to dive in. I think I have 9 or 10 Hoyas I'm going to show you, and this is the first one. It is Hoya Polyneuron Reggae, so it's kind of got like a silver gray to it. I got this at a plant swap that we organized on Facebook. It was a single leaf cutting, this leaf right here, and then those 2 leaves came. And while I was just on vacation in Mexico, these 2 leaves came. So that's why it's been a minute for videos, because I just got back from Mexico. I got this shirt in Mexico. But this is the Polyneuron Reggae. So it was not rooted when I got it, and I rooted it in water, and then once I saw that it had a good root system, I put it in a pond mix. I don't know if you can see roots there. Yeah. And then it's given me 4 leaves so far, so I think it's probably been like a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and it's grown for me. That's all you can ask. I think this one's going to be a super quick grower. I can just tell these leaves pop up out of nowhere. I have it in bright light, and I keep it pretty wet in here for now because I water rooted it. So we'll see. It's a pond mix, so Polyneuron Reggae. Okay, so sorry, I got to take my hat off. I'm burning up. The second Hoya is the Hoya Chroniana Super Silver. So there is a regular silver and then a super silver, and I think there's like a black margin. I don't know, there's a bunch of different variations of this, but this is the super silver. I've had it for probably about 4 months. It's grown. It's just a slow grower, so I think maybe like they're down is new. And this is in its chunky soil mix that I bought from a girl from Facebook. It didn't need repotted, so I just haven't yet. We'll see what happens. If I end up taking a cutting and rooting it in water, I might put it in semi-hydro, but it's happy for now, and I don't want to make it unhappy, so I still have it in the chunky mix. A lot of people will tell you, like Hoya care, that they don't like watered and they need to be treated like succulents. But I made all my Hoyas very unhappy by treating them that way. I find that my Hoya like to be watered like my regular plants, like maybe extend a day or two. Like I'll water everything else, and then 2 or 3 days later I'll also water my Hoyas. So usually I water weekly. You know, each plant's individual, and then these Hoyas I'll water every 10 days or so. But this is Chroniana Super Silver. The third Hoya is one of my favorites. It is the Hoya Curtisia, and I bought this as a little trailing plant, and it has just taken off. I have this in a not in a south-facing window, but 6 feet away from it, and it still is just growing crazily. I think that if you keep this in direct sun, like in a south-facing window, that it sun stresses and turns like a reddish kind of fade to it, but this one is very happy. It is so long. I just cut it a few weeks ago. So I have some cuttings in water. This particular Hoya is very sensitive to water. I probably go every 2 weeks during the summer on this Hoya. It just doesn't need it, and it doesn't like it. So forget about this Hoya and you'll be perfectly fine. This Hoya is in a chunky soil mix. Once again, I got it in soil. I transplanted it in soil. It was before I was doing semi-hydro so heavily. And it's happy, so I'm not messing with it. Maybe eventually, like I said, some of these cuttings I have, I'll put into a semi-hydro setup. But it looks good right now. So I give it natural south-facing window light about 6 feet away. And it's happy. This is Hoya Curtisia. The next Hoya I'm going to talk about is Hoya Compacta Carnosa variegated. So this is in pon, and it is a cutting of the big soil plant that I bought. It's doing good here. It is growing. It seems quicker in the pon as a single cutting, so we'll see how it continues to grow. I will show you the mother plant. It came in this soil mix here. It's chunky soil mix. The reason I cut it was because this plant didn't move forever. So I cut it and it seems to be growing in the pon. Now, after saying that, this little nodule is new growth as well. So it is growing and the pon one is growing. So I'm just keeping them both for now to see which one does better. This is an east facing light in a window. This is under a grow light, bright light. So we'll see. The next Hoya that I chose to show is Hoya Gracillus. And the reason why I'm putting this on my first Hoya video is because I'm about to cut this one up into pieces. I just can't take it anymore. This plant won't grow. I don't know. I've looked at it under a microscope for flat mites. It actually does have like two little, I don't know if you can see, two little leaves there that are new growth. That is the first signs of new growth on this plant for greater than 6 months. It's in soil from a nursery, and it's bad soil. So I'm hoping that I can cut this up, root it out in water, and then have it in semi-hydro and maybe make it a little bit happier. Otherwise, I'm going to not get this plant again, because if I kill it, I mean, this plant's pretty and I think a big bush of it would be very nice, but it's not my favorite Hoya. It's a thin leaf Hoya, and like I said, it's not been rewarding so far, so I'm having issues with it. It's not supposed to be a hard Hoya, so therein lies my dilemma. But I wanted to show it to you now. That way in the future, after I cut it up and hopefully root it out, we can see what we're working with. Hey guys, the next Hoya that I'm going to show you is my Hoya Bertonia. It is a big swivelly basket that hangs directly in a south-facing window. So this is a Hoya that I really like because it has velvety leaves. It's just a little fuzzy, and it sun stresses. I don't know if you can tell that like some of the leaves are green and then some of them have like a dark red hue to them. But it has been easy care for me. I take this down every 10 days or so and completely soak it. And then I just hang it back in its window. And it's always popping off with new growth. I do find that the new growth is like bushy instead of like vertical. Like I haven't had a ton of vertical growth. But this thing is just massive. Like, look at this. It's easy and I love it. This is one of my favorites. I think it's because it's velvety. And that's the Hoya Bertonia. It's in soil and I bought it that way and it hasn't need changed. It's happy, so it's too big and established for me to take it out of the soil, I think. Okay, so the next Hoya is my Hoya Linearis, and she is also about to get a haircut. So this is in a super chunky mix. That's a predatory mite sachet. But she's just a little uneven. See how that one tendril goes way further? So I'm going to cut them all even and then root these out in the water. And then probably replant them here in the back. Because see how she's bald in the back? But she grows so fast. And she, opposite of the last Hoya, she grows just vertically. Like, no bushiness. I'm just going to have to plant like a vine here and here and here. And then it'll end up being a full pot. But this plant is under a grow light upstairs, and she just is always living her best life. I think that this would be a good Hoya for semi-hydro as well, because I've cut her before and rooted in water, and it seemed to be really, really easy. So I might try that as well, but I'd like to get this pot super full first. And since I have a lot of length, I'm going to cut right there and then kind of put my roots in there. If you can get your hands on one of these, it's a very rewarding plant. It's got a good payoff, and it's just kind of a classic that you want to have in your collection. This is my Hoya Linearis. Okay, the next Hoya is the Hoya Multiflora. This is a huge Hoya. There is the flowers. It's not opened yet, but they're developing. But there's more developing flowers. And, oh, here we go. Ooh, lost the flower. That's what it looks like. So, because of the shape of the flower, this is also called the shooting star Hoya. And it's always, always, always flowering for as long as I've had it. It's in a soil mix. It's a thin leaf Hoya, and I find that it's a little bit thirstier than other Hoyas, so I water it weekly with my other plants. I have taken a cutting of this. It so far has not rooted in water for me. This plant is just getting kind of big for my space. I kind of love a big plant though. But I'm thinking of cutting it back, so we'll see. I might try it in semi-hydro if I can get some roots. But this is the Hoya Multiflora. Okay guys, this is going to be the last Hoya that I show in this video. It is the Hoya Crimson Princess. So it's one of the only plants that I have duplicates of, and that is because I have just two specimens that are so pretty. I'm going to show you this one I got from Lowe's, and it was just so like bushy when I got it that like I could not buy this for $15. So look at this plant. It's in terrible low soil in a terrible low spot, but the plant is beautiful. Look at the variegation. This sits in a south facing window, and she's just so bushy. Like, this is growing long, but the majority of it is just growing bushy, and it's just so different than my other one. So I'm going to show you my other one because it's beautiful as well. Like I said, I normally don't have that many duplicates of plants, but these look different enough. I could not convince myself to get rid of one. I think if I did get rid of one, it would be the bushier one, because I just love this one so much. It is bushy and long. So it's like less bushy, but still like such a full plant, and just so pretty. And this hangs with my Hoya Curtisia. Oh, there we go. Back about 6 feet away from a south facing window. So you can see, I think, like, it's variegated beautifully, but like compared to the other one, it has much more variegation. And I think that's the lot, because the other one's right in a south facing window and this one's about 6 feet back. So this is one of my favorite Hoyas, and it's not because it's rare or anything. I got this from a girl on Facebook. I went and met her up and bought it, but it did not look like this when I got it. It's just loving life. So this is my Hoya Crimson Princess. Okay guys, well that's all for this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also look me up on Instagram. I'm going to put the stuff here for you to follow me on Instagram. And I will see you in the next video, and it's going to just be a continuation of my Hoya collection because somehow I ended up with close to 30 Hoyas. Thank you guys.